Welcome to Focus on Energy's Facebook Live. My name is Matt Bromley. I'm with Focus on Energy, Wisconsin's statewide energy efficiency and renewable resources program. And today, October 7th, is a special day as we join organizations, businesses, government agencies, and other advocates to talk about the benefits of energy efficiency as part of National Energy Efficiency Day. And we're especially pleased here in Wisconsin to have Wisconsin's Governor Tony Evers officially proclaim today as Energy Efficiency Day in Wisconsin. And he also called out the Focus on Energy program for its contributions to energy efficiency. So we thought today would be a perfect day to talk about the history and evolution of Focus on Energy. And so we invited Jolene Scheel with the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin to join us. Jolene is portfolio manager for the Focus program on behalf of the Public Service Commission. So welcome, Jolene.
And thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So I thought I'd just start out by asking you to give a brief description of Focus on Energy. I assume people who follow us on Facebook are probably familiar with the program, but for those who are not, just a brief overview of what Focus is and what it does.
Sure, I'd be happy to. As you mentioned in your introductory comments, the program Focus on Energy is the Wisconsin Utilities statewide energy efficiency and renewables program, and its current structure has been in place since 2007. Currently, we have 107 utilities that contribute to the program. All of the investor-owned utilities contribute. All of the municipal electric utilities participate, and then 11 of the 24 cooperatives participate. And what Focus does is help businesses and homeowners identify energy saving opportunities. And then it also provides incentives to help them purchase the measures that were identified. And in some instances, Focus also provides education and training on energy efficiency topics for contractors and building energy managers that want to work with the program.
Yeah. And let's go back to the beginning of Focus. You said it's been around for a while in its current structure, but it really began about 20 years ago. And can you just share with us what the motivation was behind establishing an independent statewide energy efficiency program?
Sure. It goes back really to the mid-1990s when utilities around the United States were starting to deregulate, which resulted in utilities wanting to sort of get back to their core business functions, which was generating and selling energy, rather than offering their more ancillary services like energy efficiency rebates, which many of them had gotten into. I just want to add those programs have served, and provided a strong foundation for the Focus programs going forward. So we're very happy about them. So the first version of Focus was created in 1999 under Wisconsin Act 9, and the programs actually started up in the spring of 2001. It was referred to as a public benefits program at the time, because when one person saves energy, the broader public also benefits from decreased energy costs, like utilities don't have to build additional power plants, so that's a huge dollar savings, but also fewer environmental and health impacts because emissions are reduced from those power plants.
You mentioned earlier that with the exception of a handful of rural electric cooperatives, all the electric and gas utilities in Wisconsin participate in Focus on Energy. And we really provide the program in partnership with those utilities. Can you describe a little bit about how that partnership works and how we're working with utilities to provide these services to their customers?
Sure. There are several ways. Some of it I have to get into a little bit of the structure that came out of Act 141 in 2005, which is our current structure. But there are several ways that the PSC staff and the program administrator, which is currently Actum, works with those 107 utilities. And we do recognize that investor-owned utilities might have different needs and wants than the smaller municipal electric utilities or the cooperatives. So we're sort of geared up to handle and help any size of utility. We've sort of evolved over the last 12 years, and I think we've gotten to a pretty good spot in terms of how we understand those needs, and those utilities understand what Focus can do for them. One of the first things the IOUs did after Act 141 passed was form a 9-member nonprofit board to fulfill its duties as required by the statute. And the program administrator and the Public Service Commission staff work closely with this board on some of the bigger picture issues like the budget and program design questions and what programs utilities are most interested in providing. But we also know that businesses and homeowners still look to their utilities as a trusted source of information on energy efficiency. And a lot of times their call center is the first place customers will go to for information on how they can reduce their energy bills. So the Focus program has tried to build on that, and we do many co-marketing events with utilities, whether it's a bill stuffer that includes the utility logo, of course, but then focus on energy. And so we can kind of tailor what that utility wants to highlight for its customers, and then what is offered by Focus in return. And also there are several utilities that have what we call voluntary utility programs. So in addition to any incentive the utility would offer, Focus has an incentive on top of that. So that's a way for the utility to sort of highlight issues that they view as more important to their customers, and then Focus helps them do that.
Mm-hmm. In the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin, which is our utility regulation agency, what exactly is their role in overseeing the Focus program?
Most of the roles are pretty specific in the statute and code that were laid out. So there's about 5 main functions that the commission performs. It is required to approve the selection of the program administrator. That CIRA board is required to select the program administrator, but the PSC has to approve it, and also lay out some of the criteria that the utilities need to consider in selecting that program administrator. And then once that is done, the commission approves the contract that CIRA has developed between itself and the program administrator. So that's a pretty important role. And then also the PSC is required by the statute to every 4 years kind of review goals, targets, and policies in a process that we've come to call quadrennial planning, obviously because it's every 4 years. We're currently in the 3rd quadrennial planning process, which covers 2019 through 2022. And we're already underway with planning for Quad 4, which would run from 2023 to 2026. And then a couple other requirements. The commission has to hire an independent evaluator to examine the Focus programs every year and to verify that the savings are real to the program. And then also required that a financial audit of the program happen every year to make sure that all the budgets line up, et cetera. And finally, the PSC staff works closely with the program administrator on a daily basis to just make sure that the programs are lining up with those commission policies that were laid out in the quad planning process.
So there really is quite a bit of oversight of the program to make sure that the money being spent in the program is spent wisely. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I know the Focus program has been credited for is their cost effectiveness. Can you explain a little bit more about cost effectiveness for the program? I know there's a lot of different numbers and factors that go into it. It can get a little complicated, but if you could just keep it just in general, what is the return on the dollar, and what does that mean for the ratepayers of Wisconsin?
Yes, you're right, Matt. It can get quite complicated. So I'm going to kind of keep it at the 30,000 foot level. Yes, we're very proud of the fact that the independent evaluations that have been done every year have consistently found focus to be cost effective, which at its most basic sense is that every dollar that's put in, we get at least $1 or more back on our investment. In a more recent example, every 4 years, they look at the previous quad and they look at economic impacts in addition to energy and environmental impacts. And the most recent report that came out in the summer of this year found that Focus provided $5.85 in energy, economic, and environmental benefits for every dollar that was spent on the program. So that's a pretty impressive number when you look at all three of those inputs.
Right.
Yeah, and then last year, a US DOE affiliated lab, a national lab, did its own study and found that Focus was the most cost-effective energy efficiency program in the nation when compared to other programs of its type. So we were pretty proud of that as well, given that this was a pretty known organization that is highly regarded in the energy efficiency world.
Right. Yeah. And I believe Governor Evers pointed that out in his proclamation about the cost effectiveness of the program.
Yes. Yep.
Well, Jolene, thank you for your time. This has been very interesting to hear about the history of the Focus program. And for those that work in the program, we're very proud of what we do, and we appreciate the Public Service Commission's involvement and oversight of the program. And for those of you listening in, if you want to find out more information about Focus on Energy and the services and resources we can provide your home and businesses, check out our website at focusonenergy.com. Thank you.
Thank you.